Hi guys, my name is Brady Wissett and welcome back to another week of the classroom. It's weird we're creeping up on the last few episodes of the year. It's crazy how things just fly by. I mean, we really got going on this in August and now it's almost a new year, almost 2021. So that's crazy exciting. But we'll leave that towards the last couple episodes of the year. I'm sure you notice I'm in a little bit different of an area right now, and there's a reason for that. Sarah and I just finished wrapping up the production stage of a commercial yesterday. So all week we were out shooting that commercial and I wasn't able to actually take the time to do a lighting breakdown for you guys. So there are a few clips in this that I really want to point out that really stuck out to me that were really fun, yet a challenge to light. And I'm going to show you three of those. There's a wide, and then there's kind of a mid and a tight to back the front and back of that wide establishing shot. So let's dive into things here and take a look at what these shots look like. And then we're gonna backtrack and see what lights I needed and where I placed those lights. Okay, so before we dive into how I actually lit each scene and where the lights were and what lights I used, I feel like we should watch it through. So jumping into it, or before we jump into it, we've got kind of a mid-tight here, then you go to a wide shot, and then back to a tight. So let's just watch it through. Go full screen there. So Sarah sitting there, looks a little bit unenthusiastic. Why are you so sad, Sarah? I'm not sure. She goes to get up, grabs the bag, clearly upset with Dad. Dad's definitely bummed out. Oh, poor Dad. But then he gets up here and go to another shot. This is this wide sweeping one-take shot that I really wanted to come through the house with. So as he grabs this book, I come on into the other room with him to meet him there and check out that sun flare. That's so beautiful on these anamorphics. Looks super awesome. So he sits down, he's reading through this book. Look at that. And then we've got some upstage lighting. And there we go. So that's the commercial, or these shots of the commercial. So let's dive into, first of all, this wide shot. So where are we here? So we've got this wide of Dad coming up, grabbing the book, into the other room. There's a lot going on here. So one thing I want to note is we ran out of daylight 2 hours before this. So the first shot prior to this ran a lot longer than expected. And this was actually shot at night, which I was really scared of, but to shoot at night, we needed to light up the whole house because I wanted to keep this long sweeping shot coming through the house, and I wasn't going to sacrifice that just because I ran out of time. So the first window that you see here is this, let's see. So the first window that you see here is this window right back here that was right by that dinner table there. So that was actually, if we want to back this up a little bit, this was actually lit by, and I did a poor job with that because we were really tight on time, but you see this source there, and that was my light panels Gemini 1x1, which is a really fantastic light. I was really impressed by that the whole way through, but we hid that behind, we hid all the lights behind shears for that matter, but we'll get into that in a second. But we hid that behind the shears set to daylight because we really wanted it to be like, later afternoon daylight color temperature. So we placed that there coming in to light up here. And then one other light in this room is actually a Pavo tube, a Nanlite Pavo tube 30C that I had somewhere just about like right back there. And that was just to get some fill light because at this point, this hutch was really, really, really dark. So I wrapped a little bit of light in here just on a really low temperature or really low brightness, same color temperature, 5600. And that kind of filled up this whole room. You can see it sweeping over him just a little bit. And then after he grabs this, this was a fun light, introducing this sun flare. So I stuck a Forza 200. Yes, a Forza 200 with the Fresnel attachment, the zooming Fresnel attachment, right out that window and hid that behind the shear. But you can see that I kind of left a little bit of a crack of shear pulled back there so you can really see the window. And that was just so you can really get this hard light because otherwise it was a little bit softer and you couldn't get this long streaky sun flare. And when you're shooting anamorphics, why not? So that was kind of my reasoning behind that because I had a little bit of flexibility of time of day. So there you've got not only this window light there, but you've got this window light here as well. And that's all you can see for those two shots lighting wise, but actually to keep the continuity, we can go back to the first one, and hidden by the other wall, you still have this wall there. So I had, oh, and actually this window and this door window had to be lit up. So this one had a mix panel, and that was a Nanlite mix panel 150. And since there weren't shears to soften it, I had a softbox grid on the mix panel. There's my drawing. Super terrible. But that was set to 5600 Kelvin as well, coming through in this direction because I didn't want to be able to see the light source there. That would have been bad. So we had that here coming in through the window, and then actually on the porch as well. I guess it was, I think it was hidden right here, somewhere in that area. We had a light panel as Gemini. No diffusion, they just had the soft little panel that comes on front of it. So I snuck that right here, blasted it on this shear to light up behind Sarah when she's sitting down there. So now we have this window lit up with the light panels Gemini. You have this window with the mixed panel and this window with the Gemini as well. So there's 3 windows that we had to go night for day. And that's already requiring a lot of lights, which introduces the challenge here. It was a hard challenge, especially when we were on a time constraint. This day was 18 hours of shooting. We started at 8 a.m., wrapped up at about 2 a.m. Crazy days, but I love it. It's fun. It's fun. It's a blast. So there's our exterior lighting coming into the house. You've got those 1, 2, 3. But inside, we have one more here lighting up this side of her face, a little bit of here as well. Love my drawings there. My doodles are great. And that was right kind of tucked back here. We had an Aperture 120D. And that was with a lantern, just kind of bloop, kind of like that. There's a drawing. And casting right over here on Sarah's face. And then on this side, we had some negative fill right behind our dad here. And that was just to really, introduce this darkness and really get a good roll off here as you're looking across Sarah's face. You've got pretty nice highlight there. I mean, it's not even that. Everything is really dark. Look at that. I think that's about Sarah. So we're not getting too bright, but I wanted a nice roll off. So sweeping through here, there's our roll off. And let's see, I think that's really all I had. Oh yeah, you see these little practical lights, which they actually already had, but I wanted to keep them because they do a great job adding depth. So I kept those practicals and blown out. You see that little oval bokeh out of these anamorphics. They're 1.8 times stretch, so not exactly 2 times, but they're definitely more oblong than are the Cerui, Cerui. I don't know what they are, but those 1.3 times stretch anamorphics, they're not as spectacular. So these Vazen ones really do a great job. I was proud of them all the way through this shoot. So wrapping this up once more, kind of all over the place. You've got the lantern casting that light there coming from right here indoors. This a little bit, I don't know, probably a foot this way. And then after that, we've got the 1, the 2, and the 3 lights there. So that's the Gemini are the 1 and 3. And then we had the mixed panel shining in there as our daylight. So coming through here, she leaves. You can see a little bit of the source as it hits her there. And then up and out, you see that Gemini as well. Unfortunately, I kind of screwed that up. And then you've got the mixed panel, the Pavo tube. That's my P for Pavo tube. Bam, he grabs the book. And then into this shot where you've got the Forza 200 with the Fresnel to cast that sun flare peeking through that. You can see that little gap in the shear right there. So then you see our practicals again and our little fireplace to make it all nice and cozy. Going into our 3rd shot, let's watch this once more. He's got an up close of the book. Look at this roll off coming in from the highlights to the shadows. You see this. See how it's a little bit softer, this sun flare, or this Forza flare, if you will, with the shear in front of it. So it wasn't as harsh, but just a little, hot light there. The sun is still shining over his shoulder. Makes a little bit of a natural rim light coming in there. But then let's talk about how I lit this inside. I brought one of those light panels Geminis, and that was just a 1x1, not the 2x1, but I had that on a little snap grid, and that was right out of frame. I bet you it was just like right there. and I went right till I could see the frame line. And I had that a little bit higher coming in on his face, wrapping around from upstage. Because remember, far side key, how we always practice, it makes this, look at this roll off coming in here. Super nice all the way from the highlights, but again, not so high highlights. He's right here. I think this is our highlight on his cheekbone or on his forehead. Super low, but coming in here, of course, we added some negative fill, so that was about right. Off frame, get it as close as you can, as big as you can. Oops. As close as you can and as big as you can, and then Forza 200, and that's about it. You got the practical lights there, making that really nice bokeh, creating some depth. You know, you can really see these leading lines into the corner, that decent amount of depth. You've got chair, face, sun, bam, bam. So that's really about it. I don't even think, we had a little bit of haze in this scene because we started it and right away the smoke detector went off. So Greg, the owner of the house, actually was the actor. He opted out. He said no more haze, and I was okay with that. So we had a little bit of haze, but not too much. I always want more haze. More haze is fun. But I guess we'll just watch it through one more time, but that's really all I've got. Again, you've got Sarah here. You've got that lantern that was shining right there. 1, 2, 3 lights and the practicals. So she gets up. Not even going to finish her food. Bummer. Sure she was hungry that day. Sad expression here as she leaves, and then we go to this wide raking shot through the house after he grabs this book. And I really wanted to do this just to show the dimension of the house because it said it later in this commercial, kind of set the scene for later. Sun flare from the Forza 200 coming in there. Fire, you got the practicals, and then coming into this tight. Shadows a lot over here because of the negative fill. Gemini, one by one, casting this nice roll off on his face. And roll off on the chair, the practicals, and there we go. That's it. So super quick, super easy. I'm sorry I didn't have time to actually set anything up and light it for you guys. Super crazy week. It was like an 18-hour day. The next day was 12. The next day was 6. And a lot of planning for, we only have like 1 or 2 more shots, but we're pretty much wrapped up on it. And I really love these shots and just the concept, especially of that sweeping walk through the house with the sun flare. I just thought it was really cool and unique and a good way to, instead of cut, just keep the frame going. But I hope you guys found this interesting. Again, I'm so sorry I couldn't set anything up and light it with you and you light it with me. But if you guys liked anything like this and I could do more of these breakdowns of the commercial that I'm working on in other scenes, I'm more than happy to do that. Leave a comment down below if that's helpful, or if you prefer me actually set up a scene and light it each time, I'm happy to do that as well. So leave a comment down below on which one you like more, if you like this and other videos that you would like to see. Again, I think I said it last time and we're almost there to 50,000. I think we're like 49. We're upcoming on the last few numbers. Again, I'm feeling super generous. So I don't know. Share it with a friend. Help us get there. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to get to editing the YouTube video, so it's actually out in time. But yeah, take care. Class dismissed. I'll see you guys next time.